what the news media, what the government used to sell us that was that our country was in chaos because Donald Trump was a poor leader. And they still have so many people believing that fact, but so many more now see that it was the government who was lying and that they came after Donald J. Trump because he was exposing them for the criminals that they are. So you would figure that now that we are closer to the 2024 election, they would give up some of these lies and start to come out with the truth and actually maybe just build some policy that would work for the people. But that's not the way they do it because they've never done it that way. What they've done is rule with an iron fist, but so many of us were blinded because we believed what America stood for. We love our country, and we didn't want to see what was happening and what our country was doing to other countries. And we basically took what they said was truth. But now we've all been exposed to the lies. We see the lies daily, and we no longer believe in what was once probably the greatest country in the world, that our government is honest and truthful with us. Because we've seen the lies and the lies and the lies continue to come at us. And what do? Instead of backing off, they double down. And what have they done now? And if you think you're gonna escape this just by being silent and curling up in a little ball and staying in your house and just hoping this all passes you by, it won't. And it won't because they have to get rid of dissenting opinions. They've shown it over and over, and they will not stop until they have us all conform. I just don't see that ever happening. So what will they do next? This is it. Exclusive. Donald Trump's supporters are now being targeted by the FBI as the 2024 election nears. We knew what was happening, but now they've made it official. And I'm going to show you how they're going to do it. The FBI and DHS report concludes socio-political developments such as narratives of fraud in recent general election. So my question to you is this. All the years that Democrats screamed fraud, they said that Bush stole the election, which he probably did. They said Trump stole the election, which we know he didn't. They continue to say anytime a Republican wins, the election's stolen, but that's fine. And it's not a narrative. It's not a socio-political narrative. It's only a social-political narrative when you're a Trump supporter and you believe with some good evidence that 2020 was a sham. But okay, let's forget about that. The emboldening impact of the violent breach of the U.S. Capitol. Man, they've run this story into the ground. How much longer are they going to talk about this? They don't even want us to see the tapes because the more tapes we see, the more we'll see a hole in the BS that they've been trying to put to us, that they've been trying to give to the American people, right? If you look at Q Shaman, when they first arrested him, they made it seem like he was the biggest criminal this country's ever saw, that he led the charge on an insurrection of our nation. But once we saw the tapes, we saw he was being escorted around the Capitol by police. Not what an insurrectionist would do, as they try to proclaim. And that's why they don't want us to see the rest of the tapes. That's why Kevin McCarthy, who was rightly thrown out, didn't produce any more tapes like he promised. And that's why so many of you people have to see why Matt Gaetz did what he did. Because McCarthy did not live up to his word. Conditions related to the COVID-19 pandemic. We all know about that, what they did with it, how they pushed it, and why they pushed it. And conspiracy theories promoting violence. Okay, that's going to work hand in hand with the violent breach of the U.S. Capitol. So conspiracy theories promoting violence. What do I have to say about that? Well, we all saw what happened in 2020 during the fentanyl Floyd riots. Nothing was done. And without a doubt in my mind, and factually based at that, the 2020 riots were way worse than anything that happened in January 6th at the Capitol. Nobody was murdered. 43 people were murdered during the 2020 riots. The most damage ever in the history of this country was committed during the fentanyl Floyd riots. Well over $1 billion. How much did the Capitol riots cost? How much? They don't even have a number because it wasn't like they say. Now, Do I support the riots that happened there? No, I don't think anybody should. But when you push people like they're doing now, because this is what they want to push you into violence. And that's what they did at the Capitol riots. They push people into violence. And this is what they want to continue to do with this rhetoric and try to push you. But don't fall for it, because you cannot beat the United States government in violence, because they have the upper hand, because they'll spy on you. They'll do whatever they have to keep power. Instead, we have to unite as a country, get together, and get these people out and vote them out. Now, some people say you can't vote because they're picking who goes into power, and you're right. And you're right. But there are flaws in that, and we have to win now to fix those flaws. And why do I say there's flaws? Because if there was no flaws, they wouldn't be doing all this to try to shut us up. Because they would just let us say what we have, and then when election time came, they would just put the people in power that they want. And don't get me wrong, they do it, but they can only do it to a certain extent and a certain degree. And what's happening is so many people are starting to wake up and see what's happening, that they're terrified that they won't be able to fix 2024. And that's the way I see it going. If enough Americans go out there and vote, and we beat the algorithm, and we beat their mail-in balloting, by us doing it just the same, they won't win, and they know that. And that's why they're in a state of panic. That's why you have to get involved. And the only way to stop this threat of the United States government is to vote them out. And that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to win. We're not going to win through violence. We're going to win through political discourse and destroy them and get them all out. And then we're going to put people in who will finally start to fight for what we believe in. And I want to leave you with this before I go. Similar headline, but read the rest. The FBI labels Trump supporters domestic terrorists ahead of the 2024 election. And there's the key. A new category of extremists has been discreetly established. That means quietly for you who don't understand that. With a particular focus on the followers of Donald Trump who identify with the Maga movement. Not all the Marxists, not all the communists and socialists who actually go out there and hurt and ruin people's lives. They're not the focus. It's the Donald Trump Maga movement. The majority of those people who are just hardworking, honest Americans that get up every day and the government defecates all over them. They're tired of what they see, and they are the extremists. You see what's happening here? This has been done over and over throughout the history, and it's time you wake up and read your history and see that history is starting to repeat itself, and they will not stop until we remove them from office peacefully, legally, and the right way, and we can do it, and we're gonna do it. You know why? You know how I know? Because again, they wouldn't be doing all this if they could just take power. They can do what they've done in the past, but they've opened up too many eyes. Remember that. You've heard it here first. Anyway, I just wanted to share this with you because they're the ones using violence. They're the ones using threats. They're the ones taking our constitutional rights away from us. We're just going along, putting the word out, fighting them through social media, telling the truth, and truth will always win in the long run, because evil, and that's what these people are, evil has always been defeated throughout history. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.